On a cloudy and windy 49-degree day, we welcome you to Lemoy Field in Middlebury, Connecticut for a CACC conference matchup between the Post University Eagles and the Bloomfield College Bears. Thanks for joining me today on the CACC Network. I'm Matt Scalzo. A matchup between two teams in the bottom of the conference looking for their first conference win of the season. Post will hand the ball to Alyssa Hughes. We'll dive into the Bloomfield lineup as this moves along. Hughes from the circle deals the first pitch high to Daniela Vidal, the leadoff hitter for Bloomfield, who comes in 0-25 on the season. 27-game skid extending into the end of last season. Vidal on the 0-1 lifts it into center field. Isabella Oliver is there, and she makes the grab for out number one. Looking at the rest of this Bloomfield order, Alana Roberts comes up playing in center field. Haley Connors, the second baseman, batting third. Janalia Rodriguez is the cleanup hitter playing in right field. Jillian Holmes, first baseman, bats fifth. Islin Lugo, the left fielder, bats sixth. Reina Ozuna is the catcher, batting eighth. Rain Romero is the designated player, batting eighth. And batting ninth is Deja Suero, as Hughes sends that low to Alana Roberts, the center fielder for Bloomfield. Meanwhile, for Post, they are 1-25, also 0-10 in conference play. 0-10 at home this season. Lone win coming against Southern Connecticut State when they were down in Florida. Jammed inside, popped up on top of home plate. Hines is there, and she makes the grab for out number two. Two quick outs for Alyssa Hughes on the mound. We'll take a look at the Post defensive alignment that you saw ahead of first pitch. Brianna Hines is the catcher. First base is occupied by Bailey Dickinson. Then Angelica Tompkins at second, Brooke Dickinson is at short, and Nyla Sapia occupies third. Isabella Oliver's out in center. She's flanked in right by Alyssa Calabrese and in left by Hannah Searles. As that is a strike to Haley Connor, the second baseman for Bloomfield. Connor pops it up in the air. Moving over from first base to make the catch is Alex Biseglia. That was my apologies on who was at first base. But that'll do it in inning number one. Three quick outs for Alyssa Hughes, and we head to the bottom of the first on the CACC Network. Bottom of the first inning from Lemoy Field. It's a 1-2-3 top of the first for Alyssa Hughes. She hands the ball off to Kate Juskovitz, the pitcher today for Bloomfield, making her 17th appearance, 11th start of the year. Is 0-10 with a 9.84 ERA. She deals the first pitch to Alyssa Calabrese. She takes it high for ball one. 56 innings pitched this season. Has given up 75 runs, 59 of those earned on 95 hits with 15 strikeouts to 27 walks. Opponents are batting .371 against Juskowitz, excuse me. Calabrese ahead in a 2-0 count. Second leading hitter in terms of batting average on Post lineup at a .271 average. Calabrese on the ground. Scooped up by Connor at second, tosses to first, and there is out number one. Looking at this Bloomfield defensive alignment, Alana Roberts occupies center field. Flanking her in left is Islyn Lugo with Janalia Rodriguez in right. From first to third around the infield, it's Jillian Holmes, Haley Connor, Daniela Vidal, and Deja Suero, with Reina Ozuna behind the plate. First pitch to Angelica Tompkins is inside for ball one. Tompkins, a 164 hitter, has 7 RBIs this season. A 1-0, in for a called strike. A 1-1, cut on and missed by Tompkins, and it's 1-2. Juskiewicz' last appearance came on the doubleheader against Holy Family 12 days ago on March 29th. Went 3 1/3 innings pitched, giving up 2 runs on 4 hits. Also pitched in game 1 of that doubleheader as Tompkins puts it on the ground, occupied by Suero at third. The long throw and the stretch and the catch made by Holmes. 2 up and 2 down for Juskiewicz in the bottom of the first. As I was saying, it's been a little bit of time since Bloomfield played its last game. 12 days ago, doubleheader against Holy Family. Had their next 4 games postponed due to weather. A doubleheader on the 5th of April against Jefferson was postponed till the 21st. And then just this Tuesday, their game at Felician postponed due to field conditions. So these last 12 days providing a chance to reset for Bloomfield, a team that has not had a lot of roster turnover after making the CACC tournament last year under Delaney Cruz in her first year, now in her second year, going through some growing pains, as that is in at the knees from Juskiewicz, and it's 2-1 to Nyla Sapia, a .262 hitter, 6 RBIs this season for Sapia. A 2-1, outside, 3-1. And last season's losses, of course, that went to the CACC tournament, beat Felician in the first round, and then dropped their next 2. They went in as the 4 seed overall in the tournament. The 3-1 belted out towards left center field, long way back, and it is gone. A solo home run for Nyla Sapia, her first of the season. And Post strikes first in the bottom of the first with a solo blast from Nyla Sapia. Absolutely crushed from Nyla Sapia. Second home run overall on the year for Post. The only other one came from Bailey Dickinson, who's coming up to bat for Post. So Bloomfield working from a deficit, Post working with a lead. One of the few times this year that has been the case. As the off-speed comes in, and it's a first pitch strike to Bailey Dickinson. .295 hitter that leads this Post team, as does her RBI total with 11. And she did have the solo lead in terms of home runs till a couple of pitches ago with 1, as that is high and outside. 1-1. Post has been run ruled in 4 of its last 5 contests. Have struggled to bring runs across, scoring 3 or less in all of those contests in which they were run ruled. only other one was that 9-7 loss against Chestnut Hill a week ago. Post trying to snap its 13-game skid, get its first win in conference play this season. Lone win overall came on the 19th of March in Florida. They took down Southern Connecticut State 2-0. On the ground foul, and in the 4 meetings against Southern Connecticut State, Post got run ruled in the other 3 contests. Dickinson in a 2-2 count, battling against Juskowitz with a couple of foul balls. That bounces in the dirt and the count runs full. Standing on deck is Alex Biseglia, the first baseman for Post. The payoff pitch home is low, and Dickinson works a 2-out walk. So after 2 quick outs from Kate Juskowitz, she's then given up the solo home run to Sapia, and now the walk to Bailey Dickinson brings up Alex Biseglia, who has struggled this season, batting .106, has just 7 hits in her 66 at-bats this season. Does have 5 RBIs. First pitch is outside for ball 1. Biseglia lifts this into right field. Moving back to second baseman Connor. She'll make the grab, and the inning is over, but Post strikes first on the solo home run from Nyla Sapia. We head to the top of the second. Post with a 1-0 lead on CACC Network. Top of the second inning, Post in front 1-0. Elizzy Hughes back on the mound, and she deals a first pitch strike to Jaynalia Rodriguez, the right fielder for Bloomfield. 4, 5, and 6 do it for the Bears after Hughes worked a rather quick 1-2-3 inning. 0-1 bounces in, and it's 1-1. For Rodriguez, she's batting .102 this season. 5 for 49 with this, has 3 RBIs. Is getting on base at a 185 clip. Fouls it straight back, and it's 1-2. The good thing for Rodriguez, she has posted all 5 of her hits in the last 10 games. Started 0 for 29 on the season. Went 1 for 7 12 days ago against Holy Family. 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts in game 1. 1 for 4 with 3 Ks in game 2. Fouls another one off and continues to fight. Just in her freshman season, didn't make her debut until the beginning of March. And she goes down on strikes as Hughes picks up her first strikeout. And there's one away in the top of the second. brings up the first baseman, Jillian Holmes, a two-way player who has been used primarily as a pitcher over the last few seasons. Had an increase in at-bats this season out of necessity. Hadn't seen this much of time at the plate over the last 2 years in comparison to her freshman season. Had just 38 at-bats over the last 2 seasons, and this is ripped into the left center field gap. That'll split the outfielders, go all the way to the wall. Holmes is digging for second, and she's in with a one-out stand-up double. First hit of the day for Bloomfield. That's an extra base hit for Jillian Holmes, her 5th double on the season. That is almost half of the doubles this season from Bloomfield, as that will bring up Islyn Lugo, the left fielder for the Bears. First pitch is low to Lugo. 094 this season in terms of batting average, 5 for 53, but she does have a pair of triples along with a couple of RBIs as well. Takes it high, and it's 2-0. Had 3 hits in her first 4 games this season, and then has only mustered 2 together over the last 21 games. Hitless in her last 4 and 10 of her last 11 games this season. Sits in a 2-1 count with 1 away. Holmes in scoring possession at second. That's outside, and it's 3-1 to Lugo. Hughes, a senior out of Staten Island. 3-1 from the right-hander, fouled off by Lugo. Hughes starting in her 6th game of the year, 0-5 with a 9.15 ERA this season. That's low, and it's cut on and missed by Lugo. Hughes gets her 2nd strikeout of the inning and gets Lugo to chase on a pitch low that she held off with a center to first. Put runners on first and second with 1 gone. Now Reina Ozuna steps in. First pitch swing, grounded foul, third base side. Ozuna, a 130 hitter this season, 3 RBIs. The 0-1 from Hughes. Catches the outside corner, 0-2. Ozuna 7 for 54 on the season. Went 0 for 5 against Holy Family in the last doubleheader for Bloomfield after having their next 4 postponed. Picked up her first hit of the year and first of her career 9 games into the season against Lawrence Tech on the 8th of March. Takes it outside. Count evened at 2-2. Two from Hughes. Swing and a miss. 3 strikeouts for Alyssa Hughes in the top of the 2nd, and she strands Jillian Holmes over at second after the 1-out double. We head to the bottom half of the 2nd inning. 1-0, Post in front. Bottom of the second inning, Post in front 1-0 on the solo home run from Nyla Sapia. Taking on Bloomfield in a matchup where both teams are in search of their first conference win of the season. The Bears looking for its first win overall. Brooke Dickinson ropes this into left field, and a lunging grab made by Islin Lugo. Picks up out number 1 in the bottom of the second. Hot start for Lugo, who went down swinging in the top of the second inning on a pitch that would have centered to first on a walk. Picks up a spectacular defensive play for out number 1 here in the bottom of the second. Isabella Oliver now, the center fielder, up for Post. 6, 7, and 8 due up, and if it gets any further, it'll be the 9-hitter, Hannah Searles, for the Eagles. Kate Juskowitz looking for a bounce back second inning. Got 2 quick outs until she gave up the home run to Sapia. Then dealt a 2-out walk to Bailey Dickinson, but got out of the inning with a pop out by Alexandria Biseglia. Oliver ahead 2-0 in the count. Clips this one foul down the first base side. Oliver batting an even .200 this year. Getting on base at a .253 clip. A 2-1. At the knees, called strike 2. On the ground to third, and it's ruled foul. Oliver just played in one of the 2 games against Dominican on Tuesday. Played in game 1 where she went 0 for 3 after going 3 for 5 in game 2 against Chestnut Hill a week ago. Goes down swinging as Juskowitz gets her first strikeout of the game, and there's 2 away in the bottom of the second. Post dropped both of those games against Dominican 11-3, got run ruled in both. Brings up Brianna Hines, the catcher. Has 3 hits in her last 5 contests. Went 0 for 3 in game 2 against Dominican, then 1 for 2 in game 1. Wind gusting out towards right center field as this is low. 2-0 now to Hines. Cold and cloudy day. It's been a cold week. A lot of rain expected over the weekend as well. Just hoping it stays clear throughout this doubleheader on this Thursday. That is in for a strike to Hines from Juskowitz. Hines puts it on the ground. Fielded by Vidal at short. Fires onto first. The stretch, but a catch not made by Holmes. Hines reaches base. We'll see how they rule it. And there will be an error against Julian Holmes. Hannah Searles now comes up to bat. The 9-hitter for Post. Fouls off the first pitch straight back into the fence behind home plate. Searles a 194 hitter. Has 3 RBIs this year. Getting on base just south of 300, a 293 on-base percentage. Slices it the other way. It'll drift out of play. quickly 0-2 to Searles as Juskowitz looks to get out of this inning unharmed after Hines reached on the error from Jillian Holmes. 1-0 Post in front after the solo home run from Nyla Sapia in the bottom of the first. This put on the ground, charged, and there is no scoop. Leaving the ball behind at second base was Haley Connor. Advancing over to third goes Hines. And there's runners on the corners with two away after back-to-back errors from Bloomfield. There'll be a mound visit as the infield and catcher and Reina Ozuna look to settle down Kate Juskowitz. After back-to-back miscues from this Bloomfield defense. Came in with 47 errors. That's now 48 and 49 on the year this inning. And it's back to the top of the order with Alyssa Calabrese. Grounded out to Connor in the bottom of the first, but Calabrese, a dangerous hitter. Takes that on the outside corner for strike one. 5 RBIs this year for Calabrese. Came into today batting .271. Lifted out towards second base. Connor moves back, and she makes up for her error with out number 3. And Bloomfield heads into the third with no damage done in the bottom of the second. Still 1-0 Eagles here on the CACC Network. Top of the third inning, Post in front 1-0. The solo home run from Nyla Sapia in the bottom of the first gave the Eagles the lead, and that's where we stand as Alyssa Hughes goes out to face 8, 9, and 1 in the Bloomfield order, beginning with Rain Romero. First pitch is high and outside from Hughes, who struck out 3 batters in the second. Sandwiched in between was a double from Jillian Holmes, lone base runner for Bloomfield so far this afternoon on what is a cold, windy, and cloudy day. Just a rough day in Middlebury after the sun was shining yesterday, although it was still cold in what has been a cold week in New England and in the Northeast. Next week looks sunnier and a bit warmer. Still doesn't feel like spring. The 1-1 to Romero. Swings at it in the dirt, and it's 1-2. Romero this season batting .143. Comes in 9 for 63 on the season. Has 1 RBI and just getting on base at a 169 percentage. Fights off the 1-2 and stays alive. Romero takes it low, 2-2. A 2-2, swing and a miss. Hughes with their fourth strikeout, third in a row. And there's one gun in the top of the third as Romero goes down swinging. Brings up Deja Suero, third baseman for Bloomfield, who, if she's able to get on base, is a threat to steal, leads the team in stolen bases with 10. But is just batting 148 this season. Takes a called strike on the outer half from Hughes. Went 0 for 6 with 2 strikeouts across her 2 contests against Holy Family back at the end of March. Pushes this the other way, foul, and it's quickly 0-2. Suero is 1 for her last 12 and hitless in her last 3 games. This is shot the other way and out of reach for a diving Tompkins into right field. Suero was 0 for her last 8, no more. She gets a 1-out base hit to give Bloomfield its second hit of the day. Another 1-out base runner. Jillian Holmes reached on a 1-out double just an inning ago in the second. Couldn't get any further after back-to-back strikeouts. Ended the inning from Hughes. That sets the table now for the top of the order with Danielle Vidal. Going on the first pitch is Suero. The throw is late, and she's in safely with her 11th stolen base of the season. The Bears looking to tie it up at 1. Lone tally in the bottom of the first off the bat of Sapia, her first home run of the season. Vidal takes it high, and it's 2-0. Vidal flew out to center field her first time up. Leading hitter on this Bloomfield side. Came into today batting above 300, nearly a whole 100 points ahead of the next closest hitter. This is shot out to right field. Calabrese will make the grab, and holding at second base is Suero. Brings up Alana Roberts, the center fielder. Popped out to the catcher in Hines her last time up. Roberts, in her first season with Bloomfield since 2022, did not play each of the last 2 years as she cranks this one out towards left field, but it is foul into the corner, and Searles could not get there. Roberts did not play this season until the 19th of March at Bridgeport and has been one of the top hitters since her return. Came into today batting .217, 5 for 23 across those 8 games. Has a 2-game hit streak, and all of her hits have come in the last 6. Takes it outside, and it's called for a strike. Hughes ahead, 0-2. Roberts was 2 for 6 against Holy Family 12 days ago. Chops it towards third. Scooped up by Sapia, fires across the diamond, and it's in time for out number 3. Bloomfield strands another runner. We head to the bottom of the third. Post still clinging to that 1-0 lead on the CACC network. Bottom of the third inning, Post ahead 1-0. They've been able to work around trouble the last 2 innings against Bloomfield, who have had a pair of one-out base runners, but Alyssa Hughes has been strong in the circle, has held Bloomfield scoreless, and Post looks to get its offense going as Tompkins swings on the first pitch, driven out deep towards center field, but not deep enough, as making the catch in front of the wall is Alana Roberts for out number 1. Wind is blowing out, so ball up in the air could be pushed out with the wind, but Tompkins got oh so close for making it a 2-0 game on the second solo home run of the afternoon for Post. The first came from Nyla Sapia, who comes up to bat in the righties batter's box. Her first home run of the season, second overall this year for Post, gave the Eagles a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the first. Takes it outside, 1-0. Sapia takes outside once again, and it's 0-2. Extended her hitting streak to 4 games in a row with her solo blast in the first. That's in at the knees, 1-2. Sapia pulls it down the line for a fair ball in left field. She'll stop at first base, and she goes 2 for 2 in her 2 at-bats so far. This time a 1-out single puts another runner on for Post. They had a pair on in the bottom of the second, took advantage of back-to-back fielding errors from Bloomfield, but Alyssa Calabrese popped out to end the inning. Now Bailey Dickinson comes up. She worked a 2-out walk in the first. We're stranded over at first. First pitch bounces in. Sapia trying to advance down to second. The throw is not in time. A strike from Ozuna, but tag was applied late by Haley Connor, and Sapia able to take advantage of the wild pitch. Outside 2-0 to Dickinson. Another runner in scoring position for Post. Sapia trying to come across home plate for the second time. Dickinson lifts it high in the air, and it will drift out of play. Foul. Few Post hitters have been able to tee it up against Juskowitz. A righty getting loose for Bloomfield in their bullpen. It is Rain Romero getting loose, designated player in the lineup for Bloomfield. That bounces in, and Dickinson will head down to first on our second free pass of the game and as many trips to the plate. Brings up Alex Biseglia. First baseman's 0 for 1 with a pop out to second back in the first inning. And we'll see a mound visit from Bloomfield. Delaney Cruz going out to talk with her pitcher in Juskowitz. Cruz in her second season as the head coach of Bloomfield guided the Bears to a 20-24 record last season. Was a two-sport athlete with Bloomfield in her time, graduated in 2021, was a second-team All-CACC member in softball as a freshman and all-tournament team as a senior. 2 previous coaching stops prior to her return was with Fairleigh Dickinson at the D1 level in 2023 and the College of Staten Island in 22, and now has returned to her alma mater as Juskowitz deals a first pitch strike to Biseglia. One is just a bit outside. Runners on first and second. Dickinson's at first and Sapia is over at second. That's in the dirt, 2-1. Outside once more, and now it's 3-1. Chopped off of home plate, and Juskowitz runs the count full with one gone. Brooke Dickinson stands on deck. She lined out to left field where Lugo made a outstanding lunging grab for out number one in the second.
Oh, that was your brother?
Stepping out of the box is Biseglia. Payoff pitch with one away, and that is down in the dirt. Loads the bases with one gone. Back-to-back walks dished out by Juskowitz. And Brooke Dickinson coming up to bat. Juskowitz has struggled with walks this season. Came into today with a 15-27 strikeout to walk ratio. Dickinson swings on the first pitch, sends it into right center field, and it'll go all the way to the wall. Sapia is in, Dickinson is in, Biseglia gets the wave around. There's no throw home. It's a bases clearing double for Brooke Dickinson, and it's 4-0 Post in the bottom of the third. Post extending its lead. Brooke Dickinson picking up her second, third, and fourth RBIs of the season. Came into today with just one. Now she stands on second with Isabella Oliver up to bat. Takes it outside, and it's ball one. And there will be a change defensively for Bloomfield. Juskowitz's day comes to a close, and she will head to first base. As Jillian Holmes will step into the circle. And with her getting warmed up, we'll step aside for a quick second here on the CACC Network. Back at Lemoy Field, new pitcher in the circle for Bloomfield. Jillian Holmes, the first baseman, now moves over, and Juskowitz takes her place over at first. And inherits a 1-0 count against Isabella Oliver, deals a second pitch strike. First pitch of Holmes' day, makes her 14th appearance. 0-3 with an 8.19 ERA. That drifts inside, and it's 2-1. Through 29 and 2/3 innings of work, she has given up 29 runs, 27 of them earned on 56 hits, 7 strikeouts to 9 walks. Opponents are batting .475 against Holmes. Has made 2 starts this season, as this is swung on and ripped out to short. Catch made by Vidal, and Oliver goes down on a hard hit ball. Brooke Dickinson still over at second, had the bases clearing double with the bases loaded to give Post its 4-0 lead. Dickinson came in with just 1 RBI this season. First pitch swinging. This is lifted out towards right field. Catch is made by Rodriguez as she retires Hines, and Holmes comes in, gets 2 batters out, but Post had already done its damage. 3 RBIs from Brooke Dickinson on the bases clearing double. We head to the 4th. It's 4-0 Post on the CACC network. Top of the 4th inning from Lemoy Field, 4-0 Post in front after Brooke Dickinson extended the lead with a bases clearing double with the bases loaded to make it 4-0 Post in the bottom of the 3rd. Alyssa Hughes now working with an even bigger lead and has already had 3 scoreless innings, but this inning will start with a leadoff base hit from Haley Connor. 3rd consecutive inning with a base runner for Bloomfield. They haven't advanced past second base. Jillian Holmes had a double in the 2nd. Then Deja Suero had the single with a stolen base in the 3rd. Connor begins with a base hit against Hughes. And now Jaynalia Rodriguez comes up to bat. Takes the first pitch strike at the knees as the wind continues to swirl. It's been blowing towards the outfield throughout the duration of the game. It was blowing down the left field line. Now it's blowing down the right and shifting out towards us in right center. Showing Button putting it down the third base side, but foul was Rodriguez. And it's quickly 0-2. On deck is Jillian Holmes, who's 1 for 1 with a double. Just a touch high as Rodriguez takes ball 1. The 1-2. This is driven out towards right field. Calabrese won't get there in time. It drops in for back-to-back base knocks from Bloomfield. Runners on first and second with nobody out. Brings up Jillian Holmes, who had that double that went all the way to the wall in left center field. Back in the 2nd inning. She's looking to drive in the first run of the afternoon for Bloomfield. 2 RBIs this year for Holmes. First pitch swinging. This is hit out towards center. Snagged by Oliver. Caught out at second base. And it's a double play for Post. Haley Connor thought it was going to get down. Took too many steps. The catch was made by Oliver. And she delivered a strike to Angelica Tompkins for a double play. This is hit up the middle, and that is down for a base hit. That off the bat of Islin Lugo. And Bloomfield starting to square some up against Hughes. And Brianna Hines will go out to chat with their pitcher. Holmes line out. Looking maybe if she just wished she put it somewhere place else or something else. That could have been not only extra bases for her, but a pair of runs. And then that single from Lugo. It could be a much different game, but Oliver with a nice play and a strong throw. Gets the double play, and now runners on first and second. Grounded foul third base side by Reina Ozuna, who was 0 for 1, struck out back in the second. Bounces in, blocked by Hines. Keeps the runners where they are. Count goes to 1-1. Post in front 4-0. Had just given up 2 hits through 3 innings. Did Hughes. 3 hits in this inning alone from Bloomfield. Big swing and a miss from Ozuna. Count goes to 1-2. And Hughes looking for strikeout number 5 to end the inning. Has already struck out Ozuna once. Comes home with the 1-2. And Ozuna fights it off with a softly hit foul ball down the left field line. The 1-2. Outside. Count evens to 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 away and 2 runners on. Lugo at first, Rodriguez at second. Post with a 4-0 lead after bringing 3 runs across on the bases clearing double from Brooke Dickinson in the bottom of the third. A 2-2, another foul ball from Ozuna. Another 2-2 off the end of the bat. Drifting back is Dickinson. She'll make the grab in shallow left field. And that will do it for the top of the 4th inning. 3 hits for Bloomfield. No runs come across. We head to the bottom of the 4th. A 4-0 Post lead on the CACC network. Welcome back to Lemoy Field. Bottom of the fourth inning, 4-0 Post in front on the CACC network. If you're just joining me, Matt Scalzo, delighted to have you with me on what is a chilly, windy, and cloudy Thursday afternoon in Middlebury, Connecticut. Post looking for its second win of the season, first conference win of the year against the winless Bloomfield Bears, as it's 9-1-2 due up for the Eagles in the bottom of the fourth. Hannah Searles fouls off the first pitch from Jillian Holmes, who comes into her first full inning of work. Came in the bottom of the third with one out, retired Oliver and Hines. Now she'll face Searles before it's back to the top of the order with Alyssa Calabrese standing on deck. That is high to Searles, who reached on an error in the second. Haley Connor charged on a slow-moving ground ball. Went for the scoop and toss all in one motion with her glove in her left hand and never picked up the ball. But no damage was done in that second inning until went to the third, and then it was Brooke Dickinson with the 3-run bases-clearing double to give Post a 4-0 lead after Nyla Sapia started the party with a solo home run in the bottom of the first. Searles in a 2-2 count after fouling one off down the first base side. Holmes comes in. That is high and outside. Full count to Searles. Bloomfield had chances in the top of the fourth. 3 hits, all base hits in the top of the fourth. But a double play derailed any offensive pressure from Bloomfield. This is driven out towards right center field. Charging in is the right fielder, and making the grab is Jaydenalia Rodriguez. Long run for Rodriguez in right. Looked like it was about to drop into a Bermuda Triangle as Haley Connor was ranging back and Alana Roberts came rushing in from center field. But there's one gone in the bottom of the fourth, and Alyssa Calabrese now comes up to bat. She swings on the first pitch, hits it on the ground, fielded at third, and fired on by Suero for out number 2. Two quick outs for Holmes in the bottom of the fourth. Looks for a 1-2-3 frame against Angelica Tompkins, who's 0 for 2. Ground out and a fly out so far in her afternoon. Led off in the bottom of the third with a fly out to center field. That was the last out recorded by Kate Juskowitz, who now holds first base for Bloomfield. Went 2 1/3 innings, giving up 4 runs, all earned on 3 hits with 1 strikeout and 3 walks. Tompkins sharply hit ground ball. Fielded by Vidal at short. Throw on to first is in time for a 1-2-3 bottom of the fourth for Jillian Holmes. It's been 5 up and 5 down since she came in relief. We head to the fifth. Post in front, 4-0 on the CACC network. Into the top of the fifth inning. Post in front, 4-0 on the CACC network. Matt Scalzo with you on a cold, windy, and cloudy day at Lemoy Field. I'm sure most of you are happy to be at home in some warm air, definitely cold. I got my hand warmers, though, keeping me a little warm. As we come into the top of the fifth, 8-9-1 due up for Bloomfield against Alyssa Hughes, who has thrown 4 shutout innings so far. Had some trouble in the 4th inning with 3 base hits, but a double play kick-started by Isabella Oliver in center field eased the pressure from Bloomfield, and Hughes was able to force a pop out of Reina Ozuna to end the inning, and now Rain Romero leads off, who is 0 for 1 with a strikeout back in the 3rd. Romero sits in an 0-2 hole as Hughes looks for strikeout number 5. 0-2 is high and outside, 1-2. The last strikeout for Hughes came against Romero. Since then, Bloomfield has put a lot more bat on balls and has been able to square some up against Hughes over the last couple of innings as that skips in the dirt 2-2. For Post, they're looking for win number 2 on the year, first in conference play and trying to snap a 13-game skid. As for Bloomfield, they're 0-25 this year, 25-game losing streak. Extending back to last year, the skid extends to 27 as Romero goes down swinging, and there's strikeout number 5 for Hughes. To start this top of the 5th inning, Romero heads back to the dugout, down by way of the K for the 2nd time today. As Deja Suero, the 9-hitter, comes up to bat. Singled, stole a base back in the 3rd, but was left stranded. Swings on the first pitch and is laid on the fastball from Hughes. 0-1. The 0-1, Suero pops it up, first base side, and there's no play. Hughes picked it up, and then the speed from Suero was too much as Tompkins went to cover first base with Biseglia charging in. And Suero reaches for the 2nd time today, another base hit for her, that one coming on a bunt. And her speed, we'll see if she goes first pitch. She does again. The throw down from Hines is a touch late, a little low, skipped into the chest of Dickinson. Had a tough time handling it. 2nd stolen base in as many attempts for Deja Suero. Creates some deja vu in the top of the 5th as it was in the top of the 3rd. Romero struck out. Then Suero reached first base and now steals a base to move to 2nd. As the 1-0 misses to Daniela Vidal, the shortstop and top hitter on this Bloomfield side. She's 0 for 2 thus far. Fly out to center and a line out to right, her 2 times up. Ahead 2-0. Vidal sends it to the air. Center fielder Oliver ranges back. She makes the grab. Suero will tag, head to 3rd. She's in there standing up as the throw is cut off by Hughes. 2 gone now in the top of the 5th. First Bloomfield base runner to advance past 2nd base is Suero. Alana Roberts is 0 for 2. Hits in 4 of her last 6 games. Swings on the first pitch, lines it on the backhand. Dickinson fires across the diamond. It's in time for out number 3. Getting it done offensively and defensively is Brooke Dickinson. Nice play. Keeps this at a shutout through 5 innings for Alyssa Hughes. We head to the bottom of the 5th. 4-0 Post in front on the CACC Network. Bottom of the fifth inning, leading off, Nyla Sapia. She is 2 for 2 today, a home run and a single with a run scored. Back in the third inning, first pitch bounces in from Jillian Holmes, and we are underway in the bottom of the fifth. Matt Scalzo with you on the CACC Network. Post in front 4-0 over Bloomfield. Eagles in search of its first conference win of the season, as is Bloomfield. Meanwhile, for the Bears, they're just trying to pick up their first win of the season. Post has their lone win against Southern Connecticut State back in March while they were down on their Florida trip. And these two teams combining for a 1-50 record so far in the 2025 season. Sappi in a 1-1 count. Lifts this in the air, right center field. Ranging back and making the grab is the second baseman, Haley Connor. And Sapia will head back to the dugout for the first time today after being 2 for 2. Jillian Holmes, who is coming in relief, has retired 6 straight batters. She's looking for 7 straight against Bailey Dickinson, who has also reached base both times today. Has walked on both occasions. Swings on the first pitch, drives it out right center field. Rodriguez on the move, and she will get there in time for out number 2. I'm looking for her second consecutive 1-2-3 frame. As Holmes, she'll just have to retire Alexandra Biseglia, the first baseman, 0 for 1, popped out to second and then walked, and was driven in a part of that 3-run double from Brooke Dickinson, who stands on deck for Post. Broke it wide open at what was a 1-0 game from the solo home run from Sapia in the first. That 3-run double may put us where we are now with a 4-0 Post lead as Biseglia fouls it off first base side. Count moves to 1-1 with 2 away. The 1-1. Chopper third base side drifts foul. 1-2 count with 2 away. The delivery from Holmes bounces in. 2-2 with 2 away. Nobody on base. Wind continuing to swirl. It's now blowing straight down the right field line. This is shot the other way by Biseglia. It'll drop in front of Rodriguez. A 2-out base hit for Alex Biseglia. Puts a runner back on base for Post. Brings up Brooke Dickinson, who had that bases clearing 3-run double that I probably sound like a broken record for mentioning so many times, but it has been the biggest play of the game so far. Broke it wide open and gave Post some much-needed insurance as Dickinson swings for the fences on the first pitch, comes up empty, and is 0-1. A big hit for Brooke Dickinson, who has struggled most of this season. Had just 1 RBI prior to that hit, and she's quickly in a 0-2 hole. A little too overzealous on those first 2 pitches. The 0-2 is high, and Dickinson holds off as the count moves to 1-2. The 1-2 home is down. Ball 2. Count evens with 2 away. Biseglia is at first. 2-2. Dickinson drives it center field. Roberts moves back, now moves in, and she makes the grab for out number 3. Hard hit fly out for Dickinson sends us to the 6th. 4-0 Post in front on the CACC Network. Top of the sixth inning, the wind continues to blow at Lemoyne Field as we come into the top of the sixth inning. Haley Connor leads off. 3, 4, and 5 due up in the Bloomfield order against Alyssa Hughes, who has thrown 5 scoreless innings for Post, who's in search of its second win of the season, first in conference play. As Hughes finds the zone, and it's 1-1 to Connor, who's 1 for 2 today, a base hit and a pop out on her 2 trips so far today. If you're just joining me, Matt Scalzo, delighted to have you with me on this cold Thursday afternoon, and I'm sure most of you that are tuning in are glad you're not here at Lemoyne Field. Wind continues to blow, and it feels like it's basically blowing directly into my face at right center field. And it's not just a casual breeze. It is a sharp wind, making it feel much colder than it is. My Apple Watch told me it was 49 degrees at first pitch. It feels like it's 29. 3-1 count to Connor. Hughes comes home, down and inside. That's a leadoff walk to Haley Connor to begin the 6th inning. Connor began the 4th with a base hit, advanced over to second on a base hit from Janalia Rodriguez, who now comes up, and then Connor was caught in hot water on a double play. Jillian Holmes, hard hit line drive out to center. Oliver made the grab, and Connor was halfway to third base before she realized it was caught. Wasn't able to get back in time. Rodriguez 1 for 2 with that base hit that I alluded to back in the 4th. That is low, and it's quickly 2-0. And a mound visit from Brianna Hines to her pitcher and Alyssa Hughes, who is having her best start of the season. Bloomfield dugout trying to get excited and begin this comeback bid. A 2-0 is in for a strike to Rodriguez, who was taken all the way. Two-0 is inside. Or excuse me, 2-1 is inside. Now it's 3-1. With nobody out, and Haley Connor stands on first base. 3-1 from Hughes. Chopper to third. Sapia goes to second for 1. Tompkins has no throw onto first. And so the 2 runners exchange places as Connor heads back to the dugout on a 5-4 fielder's choice. And Rodriguez now occupies first base. Jillian Holmes now comes up. 1 for 2 with a double. Swings on the first pitch. Drifts it the other way, and it'll land in foul ground. Oh, 1 count with 1 away. Is Lynn Lugo, stands on deck if it gets to her. That is in for a strike to Holmes, and it's quickly 0-2. Hughes has bounced back after struggling to find the zone against Haley Connor, who worked the walk, and then starting on a 2-0 count against Rodriguez. The 0-2 outside, 1-2 with 1 gone. Post looking for 5 more outs to pick up win number 2 on the season and win number 1 in conference play, trying to snap a 13-game skid. 1-2 in the dirt. runner going. The throw down is high and into center field from Hines. Takes the force out of the equation as Rodriguez picks up her first stolen base of the year. Moves into scoring position with Holmes evening the count with 2-2. And Holmes catches a piece of that pitch low in the dirt, able to stay alive. Holmes steps out of the box. Two fouled off once more. This hit into the parking lot. Bloomfield, meanwhile, trying to get its first win of the season. 0-25. On a 27-game losing streak extending back into the end of last year. As Holmes again fights another one off. Went into the CACC tournament as the 4 seed, picked up a first-round win against Felician before dropping its next 2 in the double elimination round. Falling to Wilmington and then Goldie Beacom. That is outside. Full count with 1 away. Holmes, one of the 5 returners from that team a year ago. The rest are all new pieces. Payoff pitch. Another foul ball from Holmes. Rain Romero, Daniela Vidal, Haley Connor, and Kate Juskowitz, the other 4 returners from that team a year ago. The rest are all new pieces in what has been a tough year for Delaney Cruz in her second season. Another payoff pitch and another foul ball from Jillian Holmes. I've lost track of how many consecutive foul balls it's been for Jillian Holmes. Wouldn't you know it, another foul ball. Brilliant 2-strike approach here from Holmes. Understanding the importance of each at-bat as it moves closer and closer towards the end of the 7th inning. Just 5 outs to work with for Bloomfield. Another 3-2 delivery. Outside, ball 4. A phenomenal at-bat from Jillian Holmes, spoiling so many payoff pitches from Melissa Hughes. She reaches base for the 2nd time today. Puts runners on first and second with 1 gone. Islyn Lugo, the left fielder, now comes up to bat, who is 1 for 2. Singled back in the 4th, struck out in the 2nd. First pitch is high out of the zone from Hughes. The 1-0. Fouled straight back. 2-0, or 1-1. Here comes the 1-1, showing bunt, and fouling it straight back is Lugo. Count moves to 1-2 with 1 away. Rodriguez is at second. Holmes is at first. The inning advances. Reina Ozuna stands on deck. The 1-2 to Lugo. Sharply hit ground ball. To second for one. Tompkins with a toe drag keeps her foot on the bag, and that throw from Dickinson just a little wayward. She's not able to spin it over to first as Rodriguez advances over to third, and Lugo stands on first on the fielder's choice. Both outs have come on 5-4 fielder's choice putouts in this sixth inning, and Ozuna looks to continue the inning. She ended the fourth with a pop out. First pitch swinging, drives it out towards left center field, ranging back, and in a few steps in front of the wall making the grab is Hannah Searles for out number 3. Another pair of base runners stranded in the sixth inning. For Bloomfield, we head to the bottom half, where Post looking to add insurance in search of its second win of the season on the CACC network. Bottom of the sixth inning on the CACC network. Post in front 4-0. Matt Scalzo with you on a cold and windy and cloudy Thursday afternoon for a doubleheader between Post and Bloomfield. The Eagles looking for their second win of the year. First in conference play. They stand 3 outs away from doing it. In the top of the seventh, Alyssa Hughes dealing a shutout. And Bloomfield, meanwhile, still in search of its first win of the year, as Jillian Holmes continues to deal on the mound. 1-1 count to Isabella Oliver. 7, 8, and 9 due up for Post in the bottom of the sixth. Oliver is 0 for 2, a strikeout and a lineout so far for her today. Delayed swing, fielded at third by Suero, fires on to first, and it's in time for out number 1. Just 4 hits for Post, but they've really only needed 2. The solo home run from Nyla Sapia, if you really want to dive in, they only needed that still with the shutout against this Bloomfield offense that has left runners on in the last 5 innings. Fouled off and into the mitt by Hines. And then the bases clearing 3-run double in the third inning by Brooke Dickinson puts us where we are now in the fourth. Hines with a line drive out to center. Roberts charges and makes the grab for the second out. And the Searles comes up now, reached on an error in the second and then popped out to right back in the fourth. First pitch to Searles is high for ball 1. Due up for Bloomfield in the top of the seventh is 8, 9, and 1. As that is shot up the middle on a base hit from Searles. 2-out base hit sets the table for the top of the order with Alyssa Calabrese coming up. Fifth hit of the day for Post in game 1. Game 2 to follow shortly after the conclusion of this one. First pitch is low to Calabrese, who's 0 for 3 so far. A couple of ground outs and a pop out so far. As I was saying, 8-9-1 due up for Bloomfield. In the top of the 7th, Rain Romero, Deja Suero, and Daniela Vidal. As Calabrese moves ahead 2-0. Now 3-0 as that misses low from Holmes. Calabrese taken all the way as that catches the inner half. 3 balls, 1 strike to Calabrese. 2 away, Searle is over at first after the base hit up the middle. Calabrese on the ground. Vidal fields it short, fires to first in time for the 3rd out. We head to the 7th where Alyssa Hughes looks for the shutout and looks to give Post its 2nd win of the season. 8-9-1 coming up for Bloomfield when we come back on the CACC Network. Top of the 7th inning, Alyssa Hughes looking for 3 more outs to give Post its 2nd win of the season. That's Galza with you on the CACC Network. Post with a 4-0 lead. Hughes deals the first pitch to Rain Romero. This is flown out towards center field. Oliver calls everyone off. 1 gone. 1 pitch, 1 out. In the top of the 7th, the Eagles looking to snap a 13-game skid, get its first win in conference play this season against the winless Bloomfield Bears, who are 0-27 or 0-25 on a 27-game skid, extending back at the end of last year. Popped up at a play, first base side off the bat of Deja Suero, who has reached base on a couple of singles. Last time she bunted and reached base, has stolen a couple of bags as well. She's been the closest to scoring for Bloomfield. That's hit on the ground to short. Dickinson fields, fires to first. In time! A strike from Dickinson puts 2 away in the top of the 7th, and Post stands 1 out away from picking up win number 2 on the year, and their first win not only at home but also in conference play. Danielle Vidal, the shortstop, swings on the first pitch, popped up behind home plate and out of reach for Brianna Hines. Hughes has had a couple of scoreless outings this season, but one was only a third of an inning and the other was 1 1/3. This a complete game shutout on the line. 0-1 count to Vidal. And there's out number 3, the snag from Sapia at third, and Post picks up its 2nd win of the season. First in conference play, first at home, behind a complete game shutout from Alyssa Hughes. Nyla Sapia started it in the bottom of the 1st with a solo home run. She ends it with a nice snag over at third to give Post the win in game 1. And then Brooke Dickinson, the insurance in the third, a 3-run bases clearing double. Gave Post a 4-0 lead, and then they rode on the back of Alyssa Hughes the rest of the way to pick up the 4-0 win in Game 1. We're hoping to have interviews in between Games 1 and 2, but if not, we'll see you in Game 2 on the CACC Network.